Let's take a look at ordering whole numbers and decimals. Whole numbers include 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. They do not include negative numbers, and they do not include fractions. We also have decimal numbers like 3 and 12 hundredths and 6 and 143 thousandths. And before this, you probably learned about comparing these numbers, which was greater than, less than, or equal. And so today, we're going to learn about ordering them. And when we're ordering those whole numbers and or decimal numbers, it helps to understand how to compare two of them. So when we're ordering them, we're ordering 3 or more of them. I guess we could put 2 of them in order as well. And that's a possibility as well. So we're ordering them. We're not going, hey, 2, go take out the garbage. Or we're not ordering 4 and saying, hey, 4, go do your homework. Or we're not ordering a decimal number and saying, hey, you, 6 and 143 thousandths, go outside. When we're ordering them, what we're doing is we're comparing them. And we're putting them in order from least to greatest or greatest to least, which we'll see. When we're ordering from least to greatest, the strategy and approach that I like to use is very similar to the approach that I like to use when we're looking at comparing those numbers. And then so I look at after the decimal place, 62 hundredths. Okay, so there's 2 digits there. Okay, after the decimal place, yes, there's 2 digits there. There's not 2 digits in either of those. So what I like to do is I like to go ahead and write in another digit there, a 0, to make the 3.8 3 and 80 hundredths, and the 4.5 4 and 50 hundredths. Now when I rewrite them, I'm going to have to give them back the same way and write them back the same way that they are originally given. I can't write 3.80 and I can't write 4.50, so I can't do that. And I won't do that when I write them out. And so when you see my answer, I'll explain it one more time. So first off, when I'm comparing these, and I'm trying to order them, I'm going to look at the wholes first. And then so it says least to greatest. And then so I look at the smallest one. So I'm comparing 4 wholes with 3 wholes with 3 wholes and with 4 wholes as well. And then so at that point I'm all, okay, well this is least to greatest. And that is a common mistake, to accidentally get these confused, least to greatest or greatest to least. In this case we're going least to greatest. So I know that 3 and these 3 numbers here are smaller than the 4 numbers that are there. And then so I compare these two first. And then so really I'm just comparing 3 and 78 hundredths with 3 and 80 hundredths. And the reason that I did that is so that I can even line them up. At that point I already know that 3 and 78 hundredths is smaller, so I'll start writing our answer. In between each of these decimal numbers, just so I don't get confused, I'm putting a semicolon just as they did. The next number is 3 and 8 tenths, and you'll remember that I told you that we can't write that 0 out because that's what we had added. We have to give it back as that original number, and so it's 3 and 8 tenths. We have 2 more to add in there to our list. We're looking at 4 and 62 hundredths versus 4 and 50 hundredths, and we know that 4 and 62 hundredths is greater than 4 and 50 hundredths, the 6 being bigger than the 5. And then so we continue to write that out. Again, making sure to write those digits carefully and to give them back, those decimal numbers back, the same way that they were written here. The last thing that I like to do is I like to look at my list one more time for myself and really think, hey, is this in order? 3 and 78 hundredths, okay, yeah. 3 and 8, okay, we have our 3 numbers first, and then our 4 numbers, 5 versus the 6. Yep, this is order from least to greatest. Let's put it from least to greatest. Yes, this is in order. Check. We might be asked to order these from greatest to least, and then so I take a look at my list of numbers there, and in looking at my list of numbers, I have these numbers here. And then so, greatest to least, I'm comparing the wholes. So I have 4 wholes here. Oh, I have 37 wholes here, 31 wholes here, and 31 wholes here. Up greatest to least. Oh, I already know that 37 is the biggest. I also know that 4 is the smallest, so I write that in there, 4.7. At that point, I can look at my final two numbers, 31 and 6/10, 31 and 58/100. Maybe I wanted to line them up and use that strategy and approach just when I'm working with two numbers when I'm comparing them. Maybe I wanted to add that 0 in there. And again, when I rewrite them down below, I have to make sure to give them back that same order. So I'm going greatest to least, and so I know that 31.6 is bigger than that there. And then so we have 31.58. So we're going from greatest to least. I'll put my semicolons back in just to separate out those answers there. And I look over my list again. Am I going according to their instructions from greatest to least? 37, yep, 37 is bigger than 31. Oh, 31 and 6/10, yeah, that's bigger than 31 and 58/100. That's 6 compared with the 5. And 31 is bigger than 4, or 4 and 7/10. And so I know my list is in order from greatest to least. This here, ordering numbers, is more difficult than comparing numbers. You do have some more steps to follow, and I do find that students have more difficulty with this here, ordering numbers. And maybe if we follow those steps and we follow those strategies, follow the approaches that I've set forth, it would help you. I'll show you one last strategy. This strategy is lining up the numbers vertically. And what I mean by that is you line them up and down, and we line them up according to their place value. It's just easier to see this way. Let me give you an example. So the problem might say order from least to greatest, 3.17, 2.78, 12.4, 2.6. And then so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this strategy that I'm showing you of lining up the numbers vertically. And then so I'll go ahead and write 3.17. I'll write 2.78. I'll go ahead and write 12.4, lining up the decimal points and those place values. At that point, I might even add the 0. And finally, 2.6, and again, put in the 0. At that point, I can go ahead and go through my steps. Up, I have a tens number here. That's going to be the biggest, 12.4, and then so I could put that at the end of my list. For the rest of them, I have that in there already. So I'll just put a little check mark there. Next, I'm looking at those other ones there, and I'm going from least to greatest. 3, 2, 2. Okay. I have 2, 2. 7 versus a 6. I know that 6 is less than there. And then I know that I have to give it back and give that original number back that same way. So I write 2 and 6/10. The other number there was 2 and 78/100. And the number that I haven't written yet is 3 and 17/100. Again, I look back at my list and make sure I have each of those numbers listed correctly in that same way. And then I look again to make sure that I have them in the correct order. Least to greatest. 2, 2, okay, that's right. 6, 7, yep, that's right. 2 versus 3, yeah, that's right so far. And then so we have the 3.17, up 3 holes, 12 holes. That is correct as well. And that's how we order whole numbers and decimals. So if I had a whole number here of just like, I don't know, like just 7, it would have gone right here. I would have ended up going like 7.00 and lining them up right there within that list. And again, back that same way that it was originally given. And then so this would be like this here. All right, you're on your way. Follow these strategies and approaches, and then you can order these numbers around. Ha 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 ha.